pleasure to have you here with me in the kitchen today for the Inside Out Home Lifestyle and Garden Show. I am going to teach you how to make a beautiful Moroccan mezze feast. We're going to make cumin scented Irish lamb with melting feta on top, homemade flatbreads, a beautiful roast carrot and halloumi salad, and my mindful hummus. So if you're ready, let's get started. We're going to begin with the flatbreads. This is an incredibly simple recipe. No yeast, no proving, perfect for those summer days, al fresco dining, and a great one to have in your repertoire. So we are going to start with 300 grams of plain flour in your bowl. To that, you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. You're going to add 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Make a little well in the center, so a little hollow in the center, and into that we're going to add 3 liquids. We're going to add olive oil, a little bit of warm milk, and some warm water as well. So I'm just going to turn my hob on to get my pan just a little bit nice and hot and ready to go. I'm going to get my warm water ready. So it's 300 grams of flour to 200 grams of liquid essentially. So I have 125 mLs of warm, tepid warm water, 75 mLs of warm milk. So make your well in the center, pop it in, your water, 75 mLs of milk, and then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. If you only had sunflower oil, it'll be fine, but olive oil is nice. What happens is, as you combine all the dough together, the milk adds this beautiful, it keeps the dough kind of soft and pliable, so it means that your flatbreads are just a little bit more flexible. So what you want to do is mix it all together until it forms this beautiful ball of soft dough. So easy. So we're just going to get all that dough off, and then we are going to spread a little bit of flour out on our board. You knead this dough for about 5 minutes. So a little bit of flour, sprinkle it out, and then you're going to turn out your dough, and you can see already it's starting to bubble and puff up. So that's the heat activating that raising agent. So there's a little bit of a rise or a little bit of a leaven in these flatbreads, but it makes them soft and absolutely delicious. So I'm going to turn out my bowl there, and then roll them in your flour. Kneading. You want to use your fingertips, but you also want to use the heel of your hand or the palm of your hand. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull from the side into the center. So side into the center, side into the center, side into the center. Rub it in your flour, side into the center, side into the center. And you keep doing that, okay? Side to center, and then as you're doing it, you're using the other hand to rotate the dough just that little bit. And as you go, what you're going to feel is the dough just gets a little bit more springy. So it almost feels firmer to the touch, and that's the gluten in the flour, okay? So you're working that gluten in the flour. And what you want to do is keep kneading your dough for about 5 minutes. So again, side to center. So you're pulling a piece from the side into the center. So what you're trying to get is this lovely smooth surface on the top. So side to center, side to center. The other hand is rotating as you go. Side to center, side to center. Okay. And then you can start using this part of your hand and just pushing it down a little bit more. Flip it over, so keep doing that for about 5 minutes. Turn it over, put it under a damp tea towel, and just let it rest for about 30 minutes. When you come back, your ball of dough has firmed up a little bit. Squeeze it out, and you're going to get at least 4 flatbreads out of this recipe. So cut out 1, little bit of flour on your board again, and grab your rolling pin. So when you're rolling out, 1, 2, 3, give it a little quarter turn, 1, 2, 3, flour on the board, flour on your rolling pin, and you want to roll it out. And this is not about perfection. This is about rolling out a roughly circular shape for your flatbread. They're homemade, they're meant to be rustic, they're not meant to look like something that came out of a packet, okay? You want them to have that rustic feel. And if you can't get over that, then just get a plate and draw around it and cut out a perfect circle if it allows you to rest a little bit easier at night, because I know some people like perfect circles. Okay, so we're going to roll this guy out I am going to use a griddle pan to fry it on. So I have my griddle pan on here. You want to get your heat up nice and hot. So I'm going to just turn this up. Brilliant, okay. And you can feel that heat starting to rise, which is really nice. We're going to leave that there. Give it a little roll out. So as I said, no perfect circles. You're getting a rough circular shape. And then you've got your griddle pan, got a little half teaspoon of oil in the end. Sit it on, and you can hear just that sizzle. And what you'll see is it slowly starts to bubble up. So the raising agent or the baking powder activates, and you get these little puffs of air as it goes, and it's beautiful. So I'm going to let that cook. We're going to do it for about 3 minutes on each side until you get this beautiful golden color. So I'm going to show you. Here's one that I've done already. So you get these gorgeous charred lines. So make your dough, roll them all out, and cook each one as you go, and then stack them up and have them ready, and just keep them warm in the oven. Put a little piece of parchment paper, just a little sprinkle of water, tiny little couple of drops of water on the top sheet, and that'll keep them really moist in the oven. So these ones are starting to sizzle really, really nicely, and you'll see it puffs up in the middle, and then if you just check when it's golden on one side, then it's ready to turn over. Let me tell you, one of the best things I did when I was designing my kitchen, I have my island, I have my bins here, I have my hob here, and just here to my right hand side, I have 2 pulley out drawers. One with all my utensils, so I don't have to have them on the counter all the time, and the other I have with my tea towels. So they're here every time I need one. At hand, everything you need. Kitchen design, super important. Okay, let me show you. See the way this guy's starting to puff up here? You can see this beautiful, beautiful little puffs of air. That's exactly what you want. Flip it over, and you see those beautiful char griddle lines? That's how you make the most beautiful homemade flatbreads. Okay, let me talk to you about my hummus. I'm famous for my hummus, and a little bit controversial, I might add. Hummus is a Middle Eastern dip, essentially. We all probably know it at this stage from the supermarkets. Why would you go to the bother of making your own? Here's why. It's more nutritious. You can control how much oil goes into it, which is very important, how much salt is going into it. It's full of flavor, okay? So as when you make it yourself at home, you can make it be really healthy. It's full of fiber, it's full of vitamin B, it's full of kind of that nourishing, filling, wholesome food, okay? So it's a good one to make as long as it's not over processed and it doesn't have a huge amount of oil in it, because you've got all those excess calories that you don't need. So to begin, I'm going to turn down my heat just a little bit on that one, and I'm going to stack it up here. I'm going to show you what it looks like on this side. So it's getting beautiful and charred. It's going to take another minute or 2. Hummus. The very first ingredient you're going to use is chickpeas. So this recipe calls for 1 tin of chickpeas. You drain them, rinse off that kind of water that's on them. Here comes the controversial part. You're going to peel your chickpeas. Now it takes a couple of minutes to do, but it is so worth doing. So basically what you do is you just pick one up, and you see they have this little teeny tiny skin on them. And what you want to do is just pop it out of the skin, okay? And you might think, now Aisling, I have more to be doing than peeling chickpeas. I hear you, okay? But what I will say is that flatbread is beautiful and ready to go. Take it as a moment, okay? So as a mindful eating coach, one of the things that I have to tell everybody all the time is that we need to slow down when we're eating, but it's more than that. It's about taking a breath. It's about just being present in that moment of doing what you're doing. And sometimes we need to give our brain just a little rest in the day. We're really busy. And if your little brain rest comes in the form of standing, just peeling chickpeas for a couple of minutes, then I highly recommend it. As humans, we need our hands doing things. We need to fulfill that need. Doing something like that with your chickpeas really, really works. The other really important reason why you're peeling your chickpeas is, from a technical point of view, it makes the smoothest, creamiest hummus. And that, my friends, is very important to me also. Okay, 1 tin of chickpeas gone in there. My next key ingredient is tahini. Tahini is a sesame seed paste. So think of it just like peanut butter, but it's made with sesame seeds instead. So it's got this beautiful kind of depth of umami, and I cook with umami, which is this natural kind of, flavor, savory deliciousness that comes from certain foods, and tahini has that. Most supermarkets are stocking tahini now. One of the biggest mistakes people do when they make their hummus, they don't put enough tahini in. They kind of put a teaspoon or a tablespoon. You need 2 good big tablespoons of tahini going in here because you really want to get that punch of flavor. If you want to make this hummus at home and you don't have tahini, what are you going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to use peanut butter, but you use half the amount of peanut butter because peanut butter is so much stronger. So use 1 big tablespoon. Into that is going 1 clove of garlic and the juice of half a lemon. So I'm just squeezing in the juice of half the lemon. So we're going to blitz all this up then with your food processor. And because you've peeled your chickpeas, all that kind of tough, fibrous skin is gone. So it just takes less time in the food processor and you get that creamy, creamy texture. Into that, the recipe calls for between 3 to 6 tablespoons of oil. Why do I say that? Depending on if you use tin chickpeas or dried chickpeas, depending on the variety, depending on the quantity, depending on if you peeled them or you didn't peel them, they'll absorb more liquid. You might prefer kind of a thinner hummus, somebody else might prefer a thicker hummus. So I'm allowing it up to you and your preferences, and that's the best way to learn how to cook. So I'm going to start with about 3 tablespoons of oil in here. I'm using vegetable oil. You can use olive oil, but it just has a stronger taste. So sometimes it's nicer to actually just have a plainer oil in here. Cold, cold water. So I'm going to pop in about 3 tablespoons of cold water, and I'm going to turn on my food processor, and we're going to get this going. Now, this is the next piece of information you need to know. People think, oh, I'll blitz my hummus for 1.5 minutes and it'll be done. It won't. If you want super smooth, super creamy, delicious hummus to serve to your guests or to have for yourself, you need to blitz this for a good 4 minutes, okay? So we're going to turn on our food processor, we're going to have a check, we're going to season it up then with a little bit of sea salt, and we're going to garnish it up as well. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more water. I can see it needs more water. Why am I adding oil and water? When you mix them like this, they form an emulsion. So you don't get them to separate. They actually combine together. But it's just, you don't want all of the excess calories of the oil. You do need some, but you don't want too many. So by adding in the water, it balances out brilliantly. Okay, I'm going to put in a sprinkle of my sea salt. So we're going to start with about 1/4 teaspoon and we'll build up from there if we need it. It looks so good already. It's starting to become creamy and smooth. It's beautiful. So I'm going to grab my spoon. I'm going to have a little taste because that's how you learn to cook. You learn by tasting and you learn by flavor. That's good. It's not there yet. It kind of has almost like a dryness from the chickpeas. So that means I need to freshen it up and lighten it up and brighten it up a little bit, and that's where my lemon juice comes in. So I'm going to add another squeeze of about 1/4 of a lemon in there. I'm going to add another pinch of salt. This could actually take a little bit more garlic if you liked it, but I'm always a little bit wary of adding too much garlic. My next ingredient that I'm going to add in is a little bit of ground cumin, and this is what really makes it authentic. So I'm going to sprinkle in about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Again, first time you make this hummus, do that gradually and then build it up as you go. I'm going to turn this back on. Okay, one more taste. That's it. That's it. You've got the light, the bright from the lemon. You've got that saltiness. And you've got that creamy texture. And then just at the end, you get just the tiniest little bit of heat from that raw garlic. That is beautiful. Really, really good. That's my hummus made. We're going to serve that up in a bowl. Flatbreads are cooking. And now we're going to start on our roast carrot salad and our lamb. Okay, so flatbreads are made. Hummus is chilling. Now we're going to do our roast carrot salad and our beautiful cumin-scented Irish lamb. So I'm not using lamb chops. I'm not using a leg of lamb. I'm actually using another piece of lamb that sometimes is a little bit forgotten about. We have lamb mince. Okay, so it's just in terms of sustainability and using all of the animal, This is really, really good. And in Ireland, we have some of the most beautiful lamb. And it's something that's kind of not used so much. If you weren't a big fan of lamb, this is a great introduction because it has so much spice and warmth and flavor. It's a really lovely way to get into eating lamb. So I've got my pan on here, nice and hot, okay? Because what we want is as soon as that meat hits the pan, this caramelization. This is not soft, tender cooked ragu. This is crispy, crackling, crunchy little bits of lamb. Nibble, nibble, nibble. It is delicious. So, pan nice and hot. I'm gonna pop my, hear that? That's what you want, that lovely sizzle. I'm gonna grab a wooden spoon, flatten out your mince. You want the greatest surface area possible to spread it well out until all that caramelization is happening, all that crispy, crunchy brown. And now we're gonna add in our spices. So, onion powder and garlic powder, two of my favorites for adding flavor into anything. So we're gonna go with about a tablespoon of each of these. You could use one regular onion and 2 cloves of garlic and sweat them off with your mince, and that will work beautifully. But if you want to save yourself a bit of time, onion powder and garlic powder, your new best friends. A little bit of an unusual one coming next. Cinnamon. I know we associate it with porridge and cinnamon buns, but cinnamon and Moroccan spices, beautiful. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon going in there. Next up, the smell already is incredible. Next up, cumin. So I'm gonna put in a good big heaped tablespoon of cumin going in here. So this is the key spice. This is the spice that we're going to see throughout the whole mezze or the Moroccan feast. And it's just lovely to have all of those dishes, each with their own individual flavors, but just ever so slightly linked together. Next up, I have turmeric. This is not for heat. This is just for color. So it adds a beautiful kind of yellow tone and a warmth to the dish, which is really nice. If you don't have it, leave it out. If you've got beautiful white shirt on, don't bother. If this thing spills, it is impossible to get out of clothes and of lovely quartz countertops too. So be very careful. Next up is my beautiful smoked paprika. So again, we're not going for major heat here. We're just going for a background warmth of spice. So we're going to put a lovely big tablespoon of that in. Oh my gosh, the smells already are incredible. So we're going to stir all these around. I'm going to turn that heat up again. So you want to get it nice and hot. So you'll really hear a sizzle now. So break it all down. Give it a really good stir around. You can see it's starting to caramelize on one side. So we're going to let that cook for a couple of minutes on a high heat, and I'm going to get started on the roast carrot salad. So I have my carrots, lovely seasonal carrots, okay? If you have local ones, just wash them. Don't even peel them. Give them a quick top and a tail. So take the top off. Take the bottom off, and you want big chunks of carrot, okay? So I'm just gonna, for this one, I'm just gonna slice it in half. So again, you're getting those lovely big chunks of carrot. One of my next favorite things in my kitchen. All my individual little corners and flat so I can keep all my roasting in. Lovely big roasting tin. I'm going to pop my carrots in. So again, it's really simple techniques, but just beautiful, beautiful flavors. So get those carrots in, keep them all in even size. That way they cook evenly. Okay, so again, lovely big chunks of carrot going in there. Then, so simple. Drizzle it with olive oil, about a tablespoon, and all of the ingredients and the recipe will be available on the website, and go to my Instagram as well, Aisling Larkin, and everything will be up there. Cumin, about a teaspoon, and then to bring out the sweetness and to blend the sweetness and the spice, sea salt. Sprinkle it over the top, and these guys are going in the oven at 180 for 30 minutes. How beautiful do they look already? So good. Okay, next up, halloumi. Ooh, let me show you this. All these gorgeous crispy little brown bits. Oh, can you see that? You see all those gorgeous brown golden little bits? Oh, that's what you want. That is where all that delicious flavor is. This looks so good. Okay, next up in there, we're gonna put 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. If you don't like a huge tomato flavor, just scale it back and put in 1, okay? Or eyeball it really. So you want your tomato puree in there. Next up, you are going to put 200 ml of chicken stock. What that does is it allows it just to almost cook a little bit in the liquid, just to tenderize it ever so slightly. So just crumble in your stock cube. 200 ml of water. And what you're doing there is you're deglazing the pan. All that incredible flavor and spice, it's a little bit stuck to the bottom because of the caramelization. You want to lift all of that out and into your dish. So we're going to stir this around. Oh my God, it looks so delicious already. This is just going to simmer away now and cook for about another 15 minutes. While that's happening, one of the other most favorite things about my kitchen, I've got my bin right under my chopping area. So when I'm finished, straight into the bin. It's the little things in life sometimes, isn't it? Okay, halloumi. Halloumi again is like this Mediterranean style cheese. It's made with goat's milk or sheep's milk traditionally. It comes in a hard block. And in my family, we call this squeaky cheese. My kids adore it. They absolutely love it. It's just salty and creamy, and it goes so well with dishes like this. It's really, really nice. I'm going to turn my pan down to a simmer and just let that simmer away. I've got my other pan on here for my halloumi. So I'm going to griddle my halloumi. I'm going to use the same pan as I used for my flatbreads, or you can use just a regular frying pan, or you can bake it in the oven, but do cook it. It's much nicer to have it warmed and golden and crispy on the outside and that creamy kind of melty on the inside. So really simply, just cut it into like little pieces like this, rectangles. So it's quite firm. It's a very firm cheese. It's allowed to be cooked, chopped, I should say, and cut and cooked. It likes that. So then you've got your pieces like this. So if you wanted to keep this vegetarian, or you wanted a lovely vegetarian option, this is such a brilliant one to have up your sleeve. So pop those on there, and I am going to grab the ingredients to assemble the salad. Flatbread, done and ready. And we are going to get this salad underway. So let me show you. I'm going to do a quick clear down, and we're going to do our gorgeous assembly. Prepare all of this and bring it all together to serve it. I love to do everything in lots of different bowls to kind of present to everybody. So I'm going to set my halloumi up there for a second. So what I have is I've got my little bowl here. You can see with the lamb, we've got these beautiful, crispy, crunchy pieces. And then you've got some more of the tender lamb on the inside. So I'm going to put this into a beautiful bowl that everybody can share from. In here like this. And then what we're going to do is get some beautiful, again, a Mediterranean cheese, lamb and goat. It's a feta. So you've got that saltiness and the heat from the beautiful spiced lamb will just start to melt that feta over it. So you're almost getting like this creamy sauce or this dressing to go with your lamb. I'm going to leave that there. Then with all good foods like this, you want to hit them with lots of herbs. Great top tip, before you use your herbs, store them in a little piece of damp kitchen paper and it keeps them so much fresher for longer. I have beautiful garden mint here, which I'm just going to chop up, and mint and lamb is so synonymous, but we always expect it to be, you know, lamb and mint sauce. So this is a really kind of modern, fresh, al fresco take on some classic Irish ingredients that we would have. So the mint is going on top. Oh, the smell as the heat and the spice from the lamb combines with the cheese and the mint is incredible. I'm going to top it with some crunch. So you've got your beautiful pine nuts. So we've got this dish ready to go. Flatbreads, all ready to go. So these are beautiful. So what I did was I just painted them then with a little bit of oil or garlic butter and some fresh herbs. Cut them, each circle, cut them into quarters. You've got this one ready to go. And then for our beautiful, beautiful salad. Again, I'm just using one really big sharing platter for everybody that I'm going to move here so you can see everything. I have some gorgeous, fresh, just lovely, light garden salad leaves. So I'm going to spread these down as my base. Then onto that, I'm going to put some red onion. So just sprinkle that on. So again, it's eating with your eyes. It's this multi-sensory approach to food. It's the smells of the lamb, the warmth of the spices, and then it's all the beautiful colors and the freshness. So we've got our red onion. Top tip, tomatoes. I'm using little Sunstream Irish tomatoes. Always take them out of the fridge and have them at room temperature before you serve them and sprinkle them with a little bit of olive oil and sea salt. Just leave them marinate 4 or 5 minutes. Oh my God, the difference that they will make is beautiful. For presentation, if you've got a couple on the vine, just sit them on the side and they look really, really nice. If you had some avocado, I'm going to pop in just a couple of little slices of avocado. So cut your avocado in half and then down into your long lines and just pop out all of your lovely pieces. So again, you're getting that kind of rich creaminess that balances kind of the spiciness of the lamb, and it cools as well, which is really nice. So I've got my beautiful avocado in here. Again, I like to top it with some nuts or some seeds. I'm going to use pine nuts. I also use pistachio nuts in this recipe and it's gorgeous. So again, multi-sensory. You want something sweet, you want something sharp, you want something tangy, you want something creamy, you want something with a little bit of bite. I've got my beautiful halloumi here. So I'm going to lay my halloumi on top. Oh my God, I am so excited to eat this, guys. I hope you are as excited to me to eat this. It is just so good. Now, no salad is complete without some form of a dressing. So I want to tell you about the dressing that I've made for this salad. I have it in a gorgeous little jar, again, presenting really nicely. I'm going to leave it on the side here. This is Greek yogurt, honey, and cumin. So I have 100 grams of Greek yogurt, half a teaspoon of my honey, half a teaspoon of cumin, and then about 3 or 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Sprinkle your oil on top and just give that a little stir around before you drizzle it over. And it allows everybody then to drizzle their own salad. So it means if you've got people coming over, it can sit out for a little while and everybody can just individually drizzle their salad. Then we have the star of the show, our beautiful roasted carrots sitting on top. I mean, look at the color that is going into this dish. It's just incredible. So we're going to lay those down. Oh my God, so good. Again, a herb that works super well with carrots is coriander. Okay, so I've got some beautiful fresh coriander. Oh, again, the smell is delicious. So we're just going to sprinkle that over the top. And it's incredible what fresh herbs do to finish a dish. They really can pull all those other flavors together. So we've got some beautiful coriander. We've got our carrots. We've got our halloumi. And the last dish we need to finish is our hummus. So to present your hummus, I've got my hummus in a dish. I just kind of put a little hollow in the center. Again, you're going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil over the top. And then you want everybody to know what's that spice or what's in it. So for presentation and just to tell everybody what that beautiful flavor is, I'm just going to put in this gorgeous little drizzle of cumin. So we've got our fabulous spiced lamb with our melting feta and our mint. We have our beautiful homemade hummus. Look at these stunning flatbreads. our beautiful, 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 colourful, gorgeous halloumi and roast carrot salad. So guys, so many incredible Irish local ingredients, but just with this beautiful Moroccan sharing feast, which I think is so nice to bring people together and kind of reinstill that joy of cooking. It's so nice. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you in the kitchen with me today. So text the word Coon to 50300 and donate €4 for a really, really good cause. Guys, it has been a pleasure to be here at the Inside Out show today. Have a lovely weekend and enjoy all of the rest. Take care.